I know now that black magic was used to even cause this miscarriage. It was, if you want to call it a miscarriage, some people would say stillborn, but he really did move. It scared me when he moved because it was sporadic. But anyway, black magic was used to terminate Reuben's life, and I'm sure other miscarriages that I had, perhaps not all of them. But then the son who died at 18 months, that was a murder, and of course I wouldn't have known that then. I wouldn't have even known that 2 years ago. And all of that has really come about through I believe spiritual understanding coming through intuition and my guides / however it works. But it's been impressed upon me that I've been married to a con man, and he's actually very dangerous. And you'll see that my first year and a half of writing poetry was really just it all was healthy and good for me, and it was probably good that it happened the way that it did. But I didn't have any clue that I was married to a criminal, that my whole marriage was actually not even a legitimate marriage. I was married to a polygamist, that there had been murder, and I didn't know any of those things. So like I said, I think there was somewhat of a blessing in that. I had so much to work through without even knowing those things. I had to work through, and I did, the things just that really encompass covert abuse, spiritual abuse that is propping up domestic abuse, and a society who continues to gaslight you, and you just can't find any support. I still couldn't have known that this was all done on purpose, that the Illuminati included the religious sects that I had, known for so long, and that it was all just much more of a very conniving setup plan to dim my my star, really, but to dim my essence, what I exude naturally, very just a go-getter, and I just have a lot of drive. I love to sing, I love to paint and draw, and lots of things. I love to create, I love to just, and I didn't know that I had it in me to write anything. I wrote some English papers that were decent in high school, but I probably didn't get A's, I got B's, and, I don't know. So, for what it's worth, sometimes we can just not have any clue just how completely crazy, movie worthy, beyond book and movie worthy, just absolutely insane stuff that we're dealing with, and we don't know. And so for anyone out there who has experienced any kind of abuse, just as a reminder, when I left, when I moved out of the house, because he refused to move out of the house, and he would only let me take my two youngest kids with me then, which were 2 and 4, I still did not know that I was being abused. I still had so much doubt, and just that one, I was not sure. All I knew is that I was so taxed, kind of physically and mentally. I wasn't insane, but I was just so, my body was just an overdrive, and I just had probably lived in, fight or flight for just, really for decades, really my whole life. So anyway, when all this comes out and everything hits the news, it's going to be worldwide. And when anyone ever listens to this, I just wanted to kind of clarify what really had happened. And even those friends who would have seemed like they were supporting me with the loss of baby Reuben, or later with Ethan, if we talk about Ethan, that would have been where the Mennonites were the ones who supposedly, I would have thought, out of the kindness of their heart, offered to give us a free burial plot, and offered to pay and they already had, even before I could decline, they had chosen and paid for the funeral. And I was like, well, I really don't feel comfortable with that funeral home because that man who owns it is Mormon, and I had a Mormon background. I knew they were a cult. I had no idea it was much, much more sinister and that they were connected. I had no idea, of course, that these people ate human bodies, that all of it was a setup, that Ethan was murdered so that they could partake of him, and it was somehow like to more oppress me. It was supposed to devastate me. It was supposed to be yet another thing that I couldn't come back from. But as you see with me recounting the death of Reuben, I just really took it all in stride. I just had great faith. I don't believe in Christianity, but because I had like a sincere heart of faith, like I just took it in stride. Now, did I ever feel like, why do all these really bad things keep happening to me? Yes, but I didn't know, almost thankfully, that they were being done to me on purpose. I didn't know that. I couldn't have known that. I couldn't have known that these friends, these Christian friends who rallied together and brought me meals, had eaten my baby. Like that, doesn't that sound absolutely psychotic? It is. It's absolutely insane. And of course, I could have never known that I had like a major role to play here on earth. Like, I couldn't have known that. You know what I mean? And everyone had always, rejected me. My family rejected me. Like, if I ever tried to pursue my dreams, like singing and things like that, like, people always would downgrade, talk very derogatory about me, and I would question, like, why do people, and I just couldn't have known that there was this huge conspiracy. I just didn't think like that. Now, I believe in conspiracies. I believe in some conspiracy theories, good art theories, and I hope my story is going to be used to kind of take that away, the way that our government and just overall society just gaslights you. And if you believe, things like I currently do, like maybe like, okay, like no man has ever gone to the moon. I actually believe the moon is like not something that we could land on. Like, I believe it's, I don't know for sure, but I believe it's more of a disc set, but I don't know. But despite that, and we don't have to agree on the ins and outs, but when you can get just silenced by everybody by, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, and then it's like, oh, okay, you're right, that is, oh, it's just I hope that I believe my story, like when people find out like what the Illuminati, who include all the churches, like what these people have done to me and what they conspired to do since before I was born, like, and just see like the evidence come out and be revealed, and then see the hard evidence of their lives being destroyed, like their wealth taken away, like the Mormons and the Mennonites, and these people are going to lose their wealth. It's going to be a wealth transfer. Their wealth is going to be given to me. That doesn't mean they're going to, like, Mormon bishop so he's gonna like get on his Navy or his whatever account and put it into my Navy Federal account. That's not what I mean. It's an energetic thing. It's like they have been siphoning from me for so long, my whole life, through abuse and molestation and all these things, right? Child porn, all these horrible things, killing my babies just to devastate me so they could continue to feed off me in a almost in a stronger way or whatever, like. This is tyranny and slavery and oppression and trafficking and inhumanity, and these people are going down. They're not really people. And even though I don't believe the Bible, like, we want to say they're demonic or they're, I don't know, what would you call it besides demonic, but soulless. They're just, there's a disconnect between their heart and their hands and what they would be okay doing, and it's not humane. At least that's what I believe. And I believe that we're gonna come into a new era, I should say, not error, but it's gonna be a huge heartache to learn the things that are being done, but it's gonna be wonderful because they're being stopped. And once we can recover, sort of like me leaving the marriage, like it's taken time to heal, but once we can recover from accepting this horrible travesty of all these children and people who have been murdered, and all these bodies that are going to be found, and fingers, and bolts around, like weights and stuff around the bodies, ankles that are thrown into the rivers and stuff so that they stay down. Like once these things are actually uncovered, like it's like going to be a blissful new earth. It's going to be without this tyranny, which includes all government forms that we have right now. And it's a new world, but not in the it's a new world with real order, not this false world, like new world order that our government has planned. It's not that. It's a miracle, and me being alive is a miracle. And love wins, and it's just amazing. So